Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Fierce Empowerment Moment. I am your host for today and definitely, excited to share with you this Monday evening. Angelica Montgomery is my name. How y'all doing? How is everything? I see that um, it's been a while since we've done Monday, but I wanted to jump on and just to kind of check in. How are you? How are you doing? How was your day? What has been going on since we last spoke yesterday, right? So hopefully you have, kind of embraced our challenge for this week and are looking to improve in your communication time and receiving strategy from God. Listen, I want to talk to you about something that is your conversation that goes on the inside. We are female in excellence representing Christ effectively. Every last one of you that has a relationship with God, hopefully you are looking for ways to represent Christ effectively in your day to day. And sometimes that, we kind of lose track of where that begins in our representation. And often it begins in our thought process. Those words, those things that you say to yourself, those those initial thoughts that come about that help you, whether you're productive throughout the day or not. So listen, let's talk about it. I'm just going to give you a few more minutes because I know that we're winding down, but I want to help you with this part right here. You have to be able to have friendly conversations with yourself about yourself. Your things, your list of things that you need to do for the day, and those things that you require of yourself. Listen, do not bash yourself. Don't be upset, on what you did not get done today. It's Monday, it's the beginning of the week. We can still attack Tuesday, right? And use it as a catapult to perform better and better each day. Remember what I said yesterday about having small goals. And when you're looking to produce more and more, try to start off where you're like, okay, what did I get done Monday? Okay, didn't get a lot of things done Monday. Now we got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But I want to talk about the conversation when you are not nice to yourself. Okay. When you are overly critical, you have to remember that God's thoughts towards you have to be the same thoughts that we think about ourselves. Okay. If they are not, then they become in opposition of what God thinks, and we can be a hindrance, and it'll be very difficult to follow what He wants. And it'll be a terrible situation because how are you going to represent Him well if you're not even thinking the way He does? Especially if you're not thinking the way He does about yourself. So we need to rehearse His conversations, His thought process even within our own selves. Listen, it's difficult sometimes for me, as especially as a mom, as a wife, to be overly critical and think about everything that I don't have the energy for, everything that I'm exhausted about. But there are times when you have to sit back and say, what can I accomplish and what can I do moving forward based off of the thoughts that you have toward yourself. You don't start out with, oh well, this is this has gone wrong, this is so bad, this is so negative, or I neglected this area of my life, I neglected this person, I neglected my child, right? You there are some elements of truth that we have to really take in and say, how can we do better? However, the thoughts that we think toward ourselves need to come from a better place, and we cannot be in disagreement with God concerning who we are. It just, hey, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why? Because the Bible tells us to cast down every imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of Christ. And the knowledge of Christ is very, very much the same as what he thinks about us. And his thoughts about us are good and not evil, thoughts to prosper us and not to do us any harm. So, those thoughts and those conversations that we have about ourselves to ourselves need to also align with those thoughts that God has towards us. Thoughts to prosper us and to not do us any harm. Okay. So keep that in mind. This is another way that you can invest even in yourself, investing in yourself, improving who you are. Listen, I know that this is probably like, oh, this is a little weird. You're telling me to think and have better conversations with myself. Yes, yes, absolutely. Because some of us, we are overly critical, and some of us, we may be even to a place where the thoughts that we think about ourselves don't line up with what God has said, and they're not the same. And we go, well, I'm going to think about everything else except for what God thinks about me. Hey, blessed evening. I'm going to think about everything else except for what I'm supposed to be actually doing. And that still doesn't line up with what God is saying. Uh-oh. I know, spaghetti. But we have to have those friendly conversations like, hey, you know, we're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. We're supposed to be reading a new book. We're supposed to be learning something new today. We're supposed to be engaging in friendly conversations with our neighbors. You know that you have Jenny on your mind today, and God is leading you to call Jenny, and you think that you don't have anything nice to say, and God is wanting you to contact them and have a conversation with them and bring them up, but you're feeling like you're no good, right? And so sometimes even your basic obedience is based on how you think about yourself. So that's why I'm talking about this, because our conversations need to be good and not evil. We need to be nice to ourselves, right? Because we can accomplish what God wants for us to do. And it starts with how we think. All right. So I wanted to leave y'all with that little nugget, that little note and motivation, that you have to have the thoughts that God has about you for yourself, even. That's what's going to help you to achieve and to accomplish all of the goals that you have. Because at the very, very end of the day, when things go crazy, when things are off the chain, if your foundation of who you are is not stable and rooted in God and his principles and his precepts and his thoughts even towards you, it will waver to and fro, and the enemy will be able to come in and steal all of your joy, steal all of your success, steal all of your focus. So keep the foundation, right? Your mind, what you think about yourself, keep those thoughts, right, on what's up above, right? So on God. Listen, I want to encourage you. Tomorrow we are having right, which is when our week starts for Fierce. Tomorrow we are having responsibility training at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do not forget to register. You can go to our website, fiercetakeover.org, and register tonight for tomorrow. Registration is still open. You can still do this. Only thing that we ask is for you to, sign up and become a member of the website. Okay. That's the only thing that you have to do. There is no payments or anything in order to take this training. training, responsibility training, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Wednesday mornings, we have our Fierce Hunt. It is a live prayer. Wednesdays, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can like, follow, and subscribe in order to get the notifications, right? So we want to pray with you. We want to pray for you. And we also need to pray for this country. We need to pray for everything that is going on, all of those leaders, everyone who is responsible, right? We want to pray at all times. That is what we are about. If we are representing Christ, we got to be about prayer, right? And then on Thursday afternoons, we have our Fierce Studies. This is also something that you can sign up for. We only ask that you and give us your information, make sure that it's valid so that you can get the Zoom link for the Fierce Study. It is a Bible study series. This is at Thursdays at noon. We do request that you schedule this ahead of time so that we know who will be on, and so we can make preparations, right, for all of our classes and everything that is going on. So that's Thursdays at noon. And then at the end of this month, we have another co-ed bonnet meeting coming up, y'all. Thursday, July 24th. The conversation will be about balancing family, faith, and careers, right? We're going to be talking about the balancing act, and it is going to be juicy. The men will be on, and they will come on, and we're going to talk about family. We're going to talk about faith. We're going to talk about careers from their point of view, and then we're going to talk about it for us too. So it's going to be really juicy, y'all. I'm really excited. July 24th, we are having another bonnet meeting. And these bonnet meetings this year have been so juicy, so interesting, and very informational on a lot of things. We've had counseling happening during our bonnet meetings, and we've had interventions happening. We've had conversations to just help one another and just edify one another, and it has been a wonderful time. Listen, we also want you to join our community, right? So even if you don't have time or you are not available for those specific things that we are doing, you can still join our community, fiercetakeover.org. And we are also on social media here on Facebook and also on Instagram, right? So we want you to connect with us. We want you to stay connected in this community. Also, too, for those of you who do not know, we are a nonprofit, and you can donate to our cause. We do so much for the community. We were able to go to South Africa and pour into the community there and give them a huge donations. We did toiletries, we did pads, we did diapers. There's so much that we did, and it was such a fulfilling time. We ended up doing, I believe, 2 or 3 days of outreach with all of the donations. And it is so amazing how far the American dollar goes there, but it still takes dollars, right? So we'll be doing that again, as well as doing things here in our own country, right? So I'm excited about that. But you can donate Fierce Takeover and for Cash App, and fiercetakeover@gmail.com for PayPal. Well, listen, that is all the time that I have. I'm running out of it. But listen, I love you all, and I want you to be encouraged. Change your conversation inwardly to reflect the conversations that you've had with God. All right. Always represent him well, even in your mind, even how you look at yourself, even what you say to yourself when you look in the mirror. Always think about his thoughts, good and not evil. All right. Things and thoughts that will prosper you and to give you an expected end. All right. I love y'all. See y'all next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.